Hello, I'm Jim from Come Play With Us, and in this video I'm going to be playing Andromeda's Edge, and specifically I'm going to be playing with the Escalation expansion. This expansion is required to play the game solo and up to 5 players. So normally the game is a 2 to 4 player game. If you want to play the game 1 to 5 players, then you need the Escalation expansion. It also includes some other goodies, some new factions, new modules, little dollop of everything. But the big thing in this expansion is the solo bot called Unity. Now, the other interesting thing about this solo bot is you can use it in a multiplayer game to kind of fill out the player count. If you're playing like a lower player count game and you want to, increase the player count to, make the board more busier, add more competition, you can also add the bot to that. The other interesting thing about the bot is there are 3 different captains that you can play. I am playing Captain Sky, and each captain has 3 different levels. I'm playing level 1 because I am not that great at this game yet. Level 1 captains are pretty simple. Once you get to the higher levels, they do get a special ability. This is just a basic level 1 solo bot. I'm going to be playing the Tolzid Porters. So that's the faction I'm going to be playing. Their special abilities: pick up and deliver. When you launch to an alliance base, you may spend 1 credit or any 2 resources to advance 1 space on the commerce track. So that's kind of neat. And trade routes: when you launch to a module field, you may buy modules of any type. So there's 2 module fields in the game. Usually they restrict you to the type of module you can buy. I'm not restricted. So that's cool. Those are the special abilities I have. I've set all the starting resources and everything up for each of the players. So I'll start with a general explanation of how this game works. So this is basically... It kind of presents itself as a 4X space game, a giant 4X space game, but it's really sort of a Euro game. I guess you call it a hybrid game because it's not a fully Euro game, but it has a lot of Euro elements to it. I mean, the main kind of mechanism for getting points is moving up tracks. The space exploration are really worker placement spots, that kind of thing. But there is a dice-based combat system. You do get special abilities and ship upgrades and all those kind of things that you would expect from a space game, but kind of at the heart it's a Euro game, so it's a bit of a mix of both. So the basic turn structure. So the other interesting thing about this game is it doesn't really have a round structure. You basically pick a first player, and then everybody just keeps taking turns until the game ends. And the game ends when you pass a certain threshold on the score track. I'm playing a short game, which means I'll be playing up to 50 points. You can adjust the length of the gameplay. There's short, medium, and long. And so that's a nice feature of this game too. Other thing I should mention is I'll try to get through the full game, but this is a very long game, so I like to time box my videos to 1.5 hours. So I'll try to finish the game, but if I get to the 1.5 hour mark and it doesn't look like you're gonna be close to finishing, then I'll cut the video there and I'll give a brief explanation of how it would score, and that will be that. So just a heads up on that. Okay, so how does the game work? So, like I said, there's no defined round structure on your turn. You're either going to launch a ship, which means take a ship off your player board here and move to a worker placement spot, or you're going to pull your ships back from the board and activate your space station, the modules in your space station, which is going to be your kind of engine that you're building here. You're going to be acquiring modules and executing them on the return to station turn. And then, of course, there's this, and there is a special launch, which is called first launch, which is when you have no ships on the board and you're launching for the first time. You can launch to any of the spaces on the board. After you launch your first ship, you have to launch subsequent ships within their range. Each ship has a specific range that they can move, and so you have to launch subsequent ships within range of a ship that's already launched onto the board. And that's simply it. Kind of very simple turn structure there. I'll go through how all the actions and everything work. But let's just go through the turn sequence quickly. So if you're taking a launch turn, you're going to launch a ship from your launch bay. to a region, and then if it's, like I said, if it's a first launch, you can go to any unoccupied region. Subsequent launches within range, but you can go to occupy places that are not occupied by one of your ships. And then you activate the region, and then you check if there's a raider strike. So there's NPCs in this game that can strike. So if there's raiders within range, they will move to your space. And then if there are other ships of other factions or raiders in your space, then you're going to have a battle at the end of your turn. So that's the launch turn. If you're doing the return to station turn, you're going to activate your modules by using your ships and also energy. You'll return all your ships to your launch bay and fully repaired, and then you discard any energy used on your modules. So the way these modules work is when you pull your ships back from the board, you activate them with your ships, and you can also activate them with energy, but the caveat to that is to activate a module within your grid with energy, you had to have already activated that row with a ship. And there is some nuance. These 3 rows work the same. You activate each module within the row. With the top row here, you just activate the first module here, and it activates the whole row. So you'll see how that works as the game progresses. Okay, the bot user does not act like a regular player. So you'll notice that it has all its ships in play already. So that's one big difference. As a player, you start with 3 ships. The bot has access to all of its ships all of the time. It also has a lot of leaders to start the game. And so the kind of catch with the robot users, it can get a way faster start than you can. So normally, I know I haven't displayed all the rules yet, but normally one of the big things in this game is building developments on the board, and that's usually quite, usually you can't do that till you might be able to pull it off on turn 1, but usually that's more of a turn 2 and beyond thing. The bot can definitely, and has done it to me, built their developments on turn 1 very easily because it doesn't have to spend resources or anything like that. So that's something you have to get used to if you're used to playing this multiplayer and you want to try the solo mode. The solo bot doesn't quite work like a regular player. It has some advantages. Okay. The other thing is its movement. It doesn't have the first launch restriction. It also can launch ships to spaces it already occupies. So those are some of the kind of differences with the robot player, and it also doesn't launch to the nebula. I'll explain what the nebula is later. It has a special ability. So normally the normal special ability of the science vessel is being able to move into the nebula. Normal ships can't move there. The bot never moves into the nebula, but when it launches its science ship, it will grab the leftmost moon that's available in the nebula. So that's kind of a basic explanation of some of the differences with the bot. How the bot works is where do we got here? Here's the turn sequence. So on its launch, you're going to roll a die. I'm also using the white faction. This is the default color for the bot. It's the white faction. This is the faction that or the white pieces. These pieces come with the expansion. Just an FYI. So these are if you're buying the expansion for the 5th player, these are the pieces you're going to get. So you're going to roll a die, and the die will determine which row we're activating here. And so when you activate a row, you're going to go to the first available ship in that row, and that's the one that's going to get launched. And you're going to look at the top card, and that will tell you kind of where the ship's going to go and kind of what it's going to do. Very simple. And yeah, that's it. And then we're just going to resolve the action like normal. The other difference here is there are 2 types of planets in the game. There are planets, and then there are stations. Or alliance bases are called. Sorry, planets and alliance bases. The alliance bases have a special action that you can take. The bot does not take that special action. When the bot goes to an alliance base, it moves this piece on this track, this rondelle here, and it basically takes whatever resources are indicated on that track. So that's a slight difference from normal play. Okay, so that's kind of the basic differences and how the bot is pretty easy to run, and you'll see that as I play. The other thing is the bot, it's going to collect modules and stuff, but it doesn't never activates them. So it's just kind of collecting them from you, and they'll score at the end of the game based on those kind of things. And it also, the bot doesn't collect or spend resources whenever it's supposed to get a resource. It collects tactics cards, and then it counts the tactics cards, kind of act as its resource count at the end of the game when we do the scoring. I think that's all I'm going to explain from the start of the game. Well, I think we'll get going. The bot always goes after the player, so you start, and then the bot goes, and then you just kind of keep going back and forth like that till the game ends. The other thing is the bot will always take a pullback turn. It will never do a launch turn on its final turn of the game, so it'll always pull its ships back on the final turn of the game, and because then it can run its engine. Okay, so first launch here for me. Okay, so I've tried to get most of the board in the camera here. This game does take a ton of space, so I'm cutting off just the draw decks at the top that you can't see, and this is the bottom row here, or no, the second bottom row. So you can't see, I don't think we'll get to the bottom row. There's another row past this row here, which can get populated, but we're playing a 2-player game, so it's not likely to get that far, I hope. Otherwise I might have to adjust the cameras, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it takes up a lot of room, so I've tried to get as much as I can in camera. The only thing that's really out of camera here is a bit of the event track, which is not super important, and then the scrapyard here, where your ships go when they get damaged. Also not crazily important. Okay, so I'll give a brief explanation of the board here. So these are the regular spaces on the board, and this top row here is the nebula. So from the beginning of the game, you cannot launch ships in the nebula, and the raiders, I'm playing with like the default starting raiders here, and they start in the nebula. There's 2 of them here, you can see. Those are the raiders. Get your card here to see what they can do. So they've got a range of 1, which means they can move 1 space, and they roll 2 dice. And then when you defeat them, you get a tactics card. They have this special swarm ability. So normally only one, like if you say I moved here, I guess there's nowhere I could go, but say I moved here and there was 2 kind of different types of raiders sitting out here. The normal rule is only one class of raider could move into my space and basically attack me. That's the normal rule, but these guys have a swarm ability, which means multiple of them can move into your space. So if you move into a space where both of them can get to you, they will both come into your space. That's not a normal thing to happen. That's their swarm ability. Okay. So that's the nebula. This is the kind of regular board, and like I said, there's 2 types of places you can go. So these spaces here are planets. When you go to a planet, the action that's on the planet is you just draw one of the resource tokens, or their moons, from the planet, and then it goes onto your board. Moons can be spent for the instant benefit you see on them, so like this one will give you a titanium, or they can get slotted into your modules. I'll show you that later, but some modules have moon slots, like this one here, you can see has this circle here. That's a moon slot. So if I acquired one of these moons, I could slot it into this module, and when I execute this module, I would get that resource that I slotted. And also this one has a 1 point bonus for slotting the moon. So that's how the moons work. For the industry tiles, this special for these tiles only, they have moon slots on their edges, and so when you put 2 together, that creates a moon slot. And then so if you slot a moon there, when you execute both sides or both of these modules, then that moon slot will also get executed. So I can't remember how these were laid out, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so that's kind of a brief explanation of how the moons work. And the alliance bases are these purple tiles in the middle. These have special abilities, so I'll just briefly describe them. So this one lets you trade 2 of any resource for 2 credits. This one lets you do development. I'll explain developments in a second. These 2 here let you buy the modules, and you can do 2 buys per action you do there. My special ability, so normally if this one would only let you buy these modules and this one would only let you buy these modules. With my special ability, it doesn't matter which one I go to, I can buy any of the modules. That's my special ability. And then my other special ability is whenever I go to one of these alliance bases, I can move up on a track by spending, what was it? I can spend a credit or any 2 resources to advance on the commerce track, which is this gold track here. And moving up on the tracks is super important in this game. Okay, so that's the module spaces. This space lets me either upgrade a ship or repair a ship. Or not upgrade, buy a ship or repair a ship, not upgrade. And the final one here lets me trade any 2 resources for 3 tactics cards. So that's all basically the worker placement spaces in the game. So it's fairly simple. The nebula spaces let you grab one of these moon tokens. I'm playing with the expansion. So normally there's only these kind of bluish moon tokens in the nebula. So if you got the base game, they'll only be those. But with the expansion, you get these kind of purplish ones that get added. And they come with the kind of relics expansion. Some of them have this relic symbol on them, and at the end of the game you're going to get it also adds modules with relic symbols, and basically you're just collecting relic symbols, and for however many you get by the end of the game, you get some extra points. So the relics module is fairly simple. That's kind of the main difference between the base game that I've had. I haven't added any of the expansion raiders or tiles or anything like that, just the modules with the relics and these moon tokens, plus, of course, the Unity solo expansion. Okay, so where do I want to go to start? I usually like to start by buying some of these modules. One of the good strategies, so these bronze ones here are basically the resource engine of the game. So I find that early game, it is quite important to buy these modules here. And the important thing also is that you cannot go to one of these spaces unless you can actually perform the action. So I think I'm going to go here and try to start working on these modules here, because they're good beginning game modules. These are kind of more middle to end game modules. So I think that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start on this one because there's no raider in the area here. Whenever you go to a spot, this can't remember what this guy is called, Sentinel or something like that. This guy moves to your space unless you're in the nebula, or unless you do the station return to station turn. And this piece basically just determines where the bot goes. So you'll see that when the bot goes. Okay, so I move here. Whenever you move here, there's this symbol at the top here, this like exclamation mark thing. That means I have to advance the event track here. That's slightly out of camera. There's a rondelle thing on here, so you move it 1 space forward. And when it gets to this space here, at the end of the turn, we will resolve an event card. And yeah, you'll see that's on both the module spaces. So that always happens when you buy the modules. Okay, like I said, I normally I would be able to buy 1 or 2 of the gold and blue from the space, but because of my special ability, I can buy any ones I want. So this one's pretty good, and it's the cheapest one. So this one would just give me 2 titanium. The one above it here, that's a bit more expensive, would allow me to pay a titanium to get an ice and a credit. That's all right too, but I might want to get both of those, to be honest. But this one's pretty good too, and it has a relic. So, but I don't have a ton of. I don't actually start with a ton of resources. I don't have a rock. Well, you know what? I have a titanium, and I have a credit, and I have 2 energy. Energy is a resource, so I could spend those to get those 2. Also, what I always forget, strangely enough, tactics cards are also a resource, so you can also spend tactics cards on those. Okay, now there is a reminder, so there's an icon reference on the back of the rulebook, and there's a reminder here that tactics cards can be used. It's just unusual, so that it's a resource. And it does remind you in the rules here, like when you're looking in the rules, what a resource is. So it has this section here that says, "Hey, here's all the resources in the game." Okay, and each of the resources does have a limit to how many you can store on your board. It does tell you what the limit is on your player board, so that there's reminders of all that stuff. Okay, so I'm going to be spending titanium, a credit, and 2 energy to buy these 2 bottoms. Credits are a wild resource, so that's why I'm using the credit, because I don't have the whatever the rock is called, nanocarbon. I don't have a nanocarbon, so I'm spending a credit instead, and then using the energy as the question mark resource here. So I'll take these 2, and whenever you buy modules, they just slide down like this, and they're replaced at the end of the turn. So you can't, like when I'm buying 2, I have to buy 2 before they're refreshed. I can't buy 1 and see what the next one is and then get one. Now I could buy 2 of the same type if I want to, or 1 of each. I'm buying 1 of each in this case. Okay, so when you buy your modules, they slot into your space station. So this one will go here. This one will go here. And now see, this one has a damage indicator in the bottom right corner, which means it comes in damaged, which means I cannot use it right away until I repair it. And I'll put a little damage token on there to indicate that it's damaged. I guess I should have looked at my tactics cards. So let's take a quick look at that before I end my turn. So there are different types of tactics cards, and on your reference sheet, it does tell you what each type does. So you can see I've got a white one here, which is an action type. I've got a yellow one, which is an event. And I've got a blue one, which is a diplomacy. Those are used during combat. So what do I got here? I got tracking device. Play immediately after an opponent advances on a progress track. You advance 1 space on the same track. Which reminds me, I didn't move myself on the track. It's something I could forget, so we'll do that in a second here after I look at these. Automation. Play when you return to station. You may activate your modules using energy, ignoring the requirement to have a ship in the module row. So that's pretty nice, actually. And tactical information diplomacy. Draw 1 tactics card for each of your ships in the active region. That's pretty nice, too. One thing I forgot, so I bought 1 of each of these. Anytime you buy one of the buy a module, you move up on the corresponding track. You see they're color coded here, so I should have moved up 1 on green and 1 on bronze here. Okay, and now you see I'm at this space that says level 1. What the heck does that mean? Okay, I haven't talked about the developments yet. So maybe I'll do a little spiel about that before we get to the next thing. So developments, to build a development, you have to have, I think what these guys are called, they're called transport ships. Okay, so you have to have a transport ship on an actual planet, so not at one of these alliance stations. And then you'll see at the corner, or they're a little bit off camera for those ones here, this one. You'll see there's some resource indication here, and then this tells you how many liters you need. So if I had a transport ship here, and I had 3 titanium and 2 liters available to me, right now I only have 1. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot. You'll notice there's liters on these tiles. I should have, as a free action, I can pick up my liter if I go to one of these spaces, so I should have picked up my liter. So this one has 2 liter requirement. So if I had 3 titanium and 2 liters, I could spend the 3 titanium, remove the 2 liters I had from the game, and then I could slot that development, which is, for that one, is this one here. They slot into your piece like that. And yeah, I've got a development there. And then I would score the development right away, which means I count up the liters that are on or adjacent to that region. I would get that many points. And then I would get a one-time use ability that I get with a card. And at the end of the game, so for this one, I would get a double repair that I could use at any time. When you use that, you just flip the card over. And at the end of the game, it's worth a certain amount of points depending on how far you are on the track for that development. So this is the gold one. So, if I had this development now, it would be worth 5 points because I'm at the level 1 spot. So that's what that means. All right, let's put that back. That's there. Okay, so that's the end of my first turn. Leaders go here in this space. Okay, so let's do the first robot turn. Okay, so the robot turn, we're going to roll a die. I got a 6. So that's going to activate this bottom row here. So that will activate their transport. And where's it going to go? So we look at this top card and it's saying Monolith of the Ancients, which is a specific tile on the board. So they are going here. And just like us, they've got the free action. They're going to pull their leader back. But unlike us, they're not going to execute this action. Take their leader, goes into their leader pool here. And because this is an alliance base, they're just going to move on this track here. And that means they're going to get a blue module. And the bot always takes the cheapest module. So they're going to do just like us. They're going to grab the module. They're going to move up on the track for that module. And then they're going to move. I'm just going to refresh those. And the module will get slotted. Now with the bot, because the bot doesn't actually use its modules, I'll probably just stack them because I'm going to need the space here. We'll see how this goes because, I could get a lot of modules out, so this might get kind of messy. I might have to move these stacks maybe up top here or something like that just to get them out of my way, but that's how it goes. Okay, so this card has been executed. So you'll see in the top left, some of these cards have an ability. So if this one had one, we would execute that, but it has none. So that's basically the end of the turn, right? Because we rolled the dice, we launched the ship, and then resolved the action. It was an alliance base, so we advanced the command marker clockwise 1 space, and then gained the depicted bonus. Next thing we would do was recruit leaders and collect bonus resources. We did that. We collected the leader. There was no special action. Raider strike. There are no raiders within striking distance, so there's not going to be battle. So the last thing we do is we just discard the card for that particular one, and we flip over the next one. So you always have an idea of what the bots could do because you do get to see everything here. So we know it could go to the right. We could launch, its big ship to the rightmost undeveloped planet. It could do, if it goes here, it's going to move to the top left of wherever that sentinel is on the board, and then it's going to do a development. So this is the one we really got to worry about. Of course, it can only do a development if it has leaders and it has a ship in the right spot. But that's basically its turn. So you can see it's pretty quick and easy. So now we're back to my second turn. Okay, so now on your second turn, you are a lot more limited in where you could go, of course, because I've only got transports right now, which only have a range of 1. So I could only go into a space that's adjacent to the space I already went. So I could do some trading. I mean, I've got an ice and an energy, so I don't have a lot of resources, but I do have a moon slot that I want to slot, and there is a nice moon here. This moon gives me a titanium and a repair, which could be quite useful. This one gives me options, so it gives me a titanium or nanocarbon. Not as useful, and I mean, I don't have any money. I can't buy a ship right now. I don't have anything to repair, and I don't need credit, so I think I will go here, which means the sentinel will move here. And the only action you get for these spaces is you take the top moon, and it reveals the next moon in the stack. So when you acquire a moon, it goes in this area, and then you don't have to use it as a free action. You can spend it later. So you can either spend it for a one-time thing and just chuck it, or you can slot it. There's a few places you can slot. You can see I've got a couple of slots here in my station. There's also this slot over here. So what does this slot do? Well, after a battle, normally if you lose a battle, you get to draw a tactics card. But if you have a moon slotted here, and this is a nice one, if I lose a battle, if I had this slotted, instead of drawing a tactics card, I could choose to do an automatic repair and get a titanium. That is actually pretty awesome. I might do that because this is a repair thing. So, and the the one thing because the bot has access to all its ships right off the beginning of the game, It's not going to pull its ships back until it executes a row where it has no ships. So, it depends on how the die rolls. Like, it's already down to one ship here. If I keep rolling sixes, it could reset really quickly. A lot of times what happens is it loads the board up with ships. And the way the bot works is if I move into a spot where the bot is, or even if the raiders attack me, if it has ships within range of that battle, it's going to jump in with all of its ships. So the bot is very aggressive for fighting. So this might be something I really want to slot, and I think I'm going to slot it there because that better that's better than a tactics card to get free repair right away. Which because then I don't have to be so worried about damaging the ships. Because now when you damage a ship, you don't like lose the ship for the game or anything. It'll come back fully repaired after you pull, return to station. But the problem is, if it's in this, it goes into the scrapyard. If it's in the scrapyard, you can't pull it back to activate your module. So that can be very restricting. So, but if you repair it, then it goes into the repair barge, and you can pull it back to use it for the module activation. You'll always get it back at the end of the return to station action. So, you never fully lose your ships or have to rebuy them or anything like that. Okay, so that was a simple turn. That's it for my turn, and we're back to the bot again. So let's see what the bot does this time. So it's going 1 this time, so it's doing the top row. Okay, so the top row, it's launching to the rightmost undeveloped planet, and then it's going to trigger the event track. So the rightmost undeveloped planet is this one here. We've got no developments, of course, right now. So it's going to go here, and just like me, the thing it's going to do is it's just going to take that top moon there. The moons for the bot just get collected at the bottom here. And then the other bonus action it gets is it's just going to rotate the event. So this just moves here. So that's another pretty simple turn for the bot. So that's going to discard that one. And we're back to me. So now I've got my last ship here. Now you don't have to launch all your ships. I could technically do a return to station action now if I want to and pull back my ships if I wanted to execute my engine early. I don't really want to do that, but that is an option. I should mention that you don't have to wait till all your ships are gone. But of course, once all your ships are gone, next turn, if I have no ships in here, I have to do my return to station turn instead of a launch turn. I mean, I can go into any one of these spots. I think I might, because I'm going to be doing a return to station action. And again, I don't really need to do either of these things. I think really the only thing I can do is go here and I want to get another moon. Of course, I got to move the sentinel here. This one, I could slot it here. It's pretty nice. I think I'm just going to slot it up here. That gives me a point. And then every time I execute this, I can take a titanium or a nanocarbon. So that's not bad. Hey, I'm tied with the bot. Oh, you can't see the score. I'm at point 2. I start on the way the game works is the first player starts with 1 point, and the second player starts at 2, and the third with 3. So we're both on the 2-point marker right now. It's not really going to get important until we get down over here. Again, it's out of shot, but the end of game marker is in the bottom corner here at the 50 marks. I guess you can see the 45. So I'll kind of let you know when we get there. When we're getting around here, we're getting close to the end of the game. Okay, so that's it for my turn. Bot's next turn. Okay, roll a 5 this time. So you can see they're kind of bouncing around here. So they're going to get a lot of ships on the board before. Not like me where I get 3 and then I have to recall. They're just going to keep going. Okay, so this ship is going to, so what this means, and here we're going to do the development if it can. It's going to move, it's going to go to the hex that's to the upper left of where the sentinel is. Except the sentinel is here, which means it would have to go here, and we know the bot cannot go into the nebula. So when that happens, when we get a spot where it can't go, it goes to where the sentinel is. So it's going to go here. We're going to have a battle at the end of this turn. But that happens at the end of the turn. So it can still just So when you move into a space where there is another and you notice the bot does not respect the range and all that other stuff. It just goes wherever it can. So that it is a lot different that way than the normal player. He doesn't have to do this whole adjacency thing in a range. It just goes where he goes. Yeah, so we're gonna have a battle at the end here. It's still just you do your action as normal if you move into a space with an enemy. So it's just going to collect the moon. That's the normal thing it's going to do. The other thing it's going to do, which is not normal, so the card had the development symbol, and you can see that it can do a development here. It definitely has 1 liter. It doesn't care about the resources, so it's going to spend a liter. And then it's going to build the research station or observatory, sorry, not research station. So we put it here. Okay, and then the other thing is, oh, sorry, that's on this one. Now, of course, the number of developments that are built are restricted by the number of transport ships you have, because you lose the transport ship when you build the development. So it's still restricted in that way. It just has access to more transport ships than I do at the beginning of the game. Okay, so it builds the observatory. You'll notice that the developments also match the color track. So this is a green development. It's on a green planet. And of course, it's going to go up because it built it. It goes up on the green track. Okay. And then it also gets this card here. So these developments are a replacement for the base developments in the game. So there are special developments for when you're playing with the bot. And then they execute differently. So this one, it's going to, looks like it draws 2 research tokens. The research tokens they're slightly off camera here. So there's these 2 stacks that you can pull from when you get to those positions on the track. There's also a stack that's out of sight above the track. So it just draws 2 random tokens. Normally you get the benefits on these. So like if I got these, I could spend these to build a ship at no cost and to do double repair. Bot doesn't spend these things. It just collects them and scores them at the end of the game. Okay, so that's used. So just flip it back over to the, and I'll just collect it to the side here. Probably it's gonna be off. Can I get it in camera? I'll keep it off camera, but we'll look at those at the end. But okay, I think I did all the steps. Oh no, I didn't do the scoring. The final thing with the developments is we got to score them now. And they score based on the number of liters on and adjacent to there. So the thing you built counts, and it reminds you how many you spent to build it. So this one only took 1 liter to build, so it counts for 1. There are liters on these adjacent things, so the liters that are still on the tiles count. So we've got 1 here, 2 here, so that's 3, and 1 here, so that's a 4 points for that observatory. It gets capped at 10, so I've had games where development scored more than 10, but the score is capped at 10. Discard the card, and then it's back to me. Okay, so for me, I'm no ships to launch, so now I got to do a recall turn. And I can recall my ships in any order I want. So the first thing I usually do is execute this top one, because you need the energy to execute your kind of other modules. So my first ship I'm going to pull back to here. And this row is special. You only need 1 ship. You just activate the row and then you collect all the resources. So I'll get 3 energy, plus I can either take a titanium or a nanocarbon. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to get titanium here, so maybe I'll take the nanocarbon. So nanocarbon and 3 energy. And energy is basically, well, I mean, you can use it when you can spend a wild resource, of course. The other thing energy is used, it's used for activating modules, and it's used to add dice to your combat. So it's used for a few things. Okay, my second ship, I'm going to activate this space here, which could let me build a ship or do a repair. I need to repair this module, so I'm going to repair the module, because then I can activate that module. So I'm going to use an energy to activate this module. I don't, unfortunately, I don't have a moon slotted there. Otherwise, so because I activated both of these, if I had a moon slotted there, I would be able to activate that moon, but I don't. So I'm just going to get 2 titanium. Okay, so you'll also notice down here, so these other ones, this one will just give me a credit, but you'll notice here I can do a development, or I can take a tactics card. So let's take a quick look. But the problem is, you got to plan this correctly. You have to still have a transport ship on the board. I've already used my other 2 transport ships to activate those rows, so I can't do the development because I need the development. I need a transport ship in place to do the development. So I've got a tactics card. So I think I'm just going to use this guy to get me a credit. Set up for next round, and then yeah. So that's it. Now I just recall my ships back. And that's basically how the return to station thing works. Oh, and then I discard any energy I used to activate modules. So we're back to the bot. And so the bot is doing 3. So it's going to do the first row. So it's going to use this transport ship here, and it's going above and to the right of the Sentinel. And it's going to do a repair. It doesn't have anything to repair. When you don't have anything to repair, that's you or the bot, then you get a point. So the bot's going to get another point because there's nothing to repair. Now it wants to go here, but it can't go there. So again, it's going to go where the Sentinel is. So it's just going to go there and take this last moon. And you'll notice now that there's no moons here. So now, whenever somebody goes here, instead of getting a moon, they'll just get the resource printed on the tile, which is a nanocarbon. Again, it's just collecting the moon. We did the repair, so that's the end of that turn. Okay, back to me. So now I got ships again. So now I'm back to the position where I could just launch anywhere I want to. So where do we want to go now? I think I want to get some more modules. I got money again, so I probably want to go get modules again. And unfortunately, I probably want to go to the same tile because I don't really want to. Not really in a position to fight. Although I could fight one raider. You know, it might be worth it to try to fight one raider. The other raider's not going to be able to reach me. And there is a leader here for me to grab. Oh, but the problem is, and this is the tough thing about doing the bot. If I get into a fight, this guy's going to jump in and he's going to whoop me. But, that might not be so bad. Because when I lose, I get a resource and I can repair my ship right away. So the worst thing that could happen is, I don't think that's terrible. And then my next ship, I could just launch anywhere again, which that might actually be okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So the raider is going to jump in here. And we're going to have a fight at the end of the thing. So see how this goes. Okay, so, these are both good. Well, I don't really like this one because I have to spend... I don't really like this one because I have to spend a titanium to get an ice and a coin. This one gives me a titanium and a point when I trigger it. And then everybody else gets nanocarbon. Now, the bot never gets resources. It'll get a tactics card instead. And then this one gives me an energy. And if I have, for every... I think that's a city. Every city I have, I could get an ice and a point. I don't have any cities. And cities, I don't even think I can build a city right now. So there's no city place spaces on the board. So not a good one to go for. This one's nice here, but that one's pretty expensive. I can't really afford that at this point. So I think I'm going to get these 2. Those seem like the best ones to get. But that's worth a point. I am generating titanium. The credits are nice. Yeah, maybe I will. This is cheaper, so we're going to do the same thing we did before. So I need a titanium, a rock, and 2 random resources. I get to move up these tracks again. Okay, and two things are going to happen. So when you go to this space, you move the event track, and you'll notice this space has the same symbol. That means the event track moves again, which means I take this piece off and I put it on my player board that to indicate that at the end of my turn, we're going to execute our first event. Okay, so I got to pay for these things and slot them. Here's my reminder. Okay, so I got to pay a titanium and a rock. I call them rocks, they're nanocarbons. And then two of anything. I'm going to be fighting, so I could use extra dice. I could use these for extra dice, which might be useful. But, you know, I don't think I even care about that. I'll have one left over for dice, for an extra die. I don't even know if I'm going to use it, because the big ship is going to move into this fight. Okay, so I spent my energy. So that pays for the modules. I'm going to slot them. That one comes in damaged. This one doesn't. I'm going to get me some moons, start slotting some moons in here. Get my engine going. Okay, and then we're going to trigger the event. Oh, that happens at the end of the turn. First, we got to do the fight. And go through the fight steps here. Fight steps. Okay, battle. So the player aid has all the battle steps on there for you. So the first step is escalation, which means each player may move ships within range into the active region. Okay, the bot will always do that, and this thing has unlimited range. So this is going to be moving in. The other ships it has on here are only range 1, so they can't reach the region, so they're not going to move in. There's nothing else in range. So that's the escalation step. It's going to be in those 3 fighting. And then next thing, we can play diplomacy cards. I have a diplomacy card that lets me draw a tactics card for every ship I have in the region. I only got 1 in there, so I'm not going to waste the card on that. The NPC raider does not draw a card, but the bot has this deck. That's kind of off camera here. Has this deck of cards, and it draws one of these instead. So the bot is got this attack on the station. So if Unity, which is the bot, wins the battle, each player other than Unity damages one of their modules. Oh, that kind of sucks. Okay. It's probably going to win this battle. Okay. Now we do battle prep. So each player, we figure out how many dice we're going to use. So the bot gets 3 die because it's got its big ship in there. My little ship only rolls 1 die, but I'm spending an energy to add a second die, so I'll have 2 dice. And then the raider rolls 2. So there's neutral dice for the raider. Okay, so how the battle... Okay, so that's the battle prep. And then the next step is we roll the dice. And then we do targeting. Okay, so how does this battle work? Very simple battle in this game. We just roll the die, and whoever has the highest die wins. Now, there's a little nuance to that, is that that's how if you've ever played, this game is based on Dwellings of Eldervale, and I really hated the combat system in that. That was basically the gist of the combat system, which was really bad, because if you roll a 6 and nobody else rolled a 6, you could have 1 ship versus 20 and you'd win the battle, which was really dumb. They fixed that mostly. It can still happen, but it's a lot more lucky if it happens. Now you have what they call targeting priority, or targeting. And how that works is, for each ship you have in the battle, you get a targeting. So the more ships you have in the battle, and what that means is the targeting value is the minimum roll on each die you can have. So if I had 3 ships in the battle, I would re-roll all my die until I had at least a 3 or higher on each of my die results. Okay. For this one, we each only have 1 ship in the battle, so targeting price is 1. So the lowest we could roll is 1. So this one's pretty simple. This one's just going to be highest roll. So back to like the original game, but at least it solves the problem of like, hey, I brought 5 ships into this battle. How come, I lost so easily in 1 ship? So this is going to be highest roll. Okay, so I rolled a 6 and a 3. Oh, and nobody else rolled a 6, so I actually won that, which is strange. But how this would work is, if there was ties, you would kind of match up the die until Okay, so you can see that nobody else rolled a 6, so I automatically win the battle. But say the bot roll or the raider rolled a 6, then we would go to the second die, right? So the bot would automatically be out, but the raider would still be in, and then we compare our second highest die roll, and then the raider would have won. But because I had the highest die roll, I won. So it's very simple and fast combat. I do actually quite like how it works in this new system. It doesn't bog the game down. It's kind of neat. Um, so that's how it works. So I won that battle. Okay, so the bot has its big ship in here, and the big ship has a shield, so it's just going to take a damage on its big ship. So I just take the damage marker and put it there to indicate that it's damaged. The raider is destroyed. Now the raider, you only ever say there was 2 raiders in there, and I won that battle. Only 1 raider is ever destroyed, so the other raider would have stayed there. But because there was only 1, it's destroyed, and the reward for beating the raider is I get a tactics card. So I'll get an extra tactics card. The bot did not win, so I don't have to damage one of my modules. And the bot doesn't get anything for losing, unlike we do. So that's it for the battle. That's how that works. Okay, now we have to execute the event. Yeah, super long turn here. Okay, so how do the events execute? So the first thing you're going to look at, it has a name. And then the first thing is at the top of every card, it's going to, during the event, and this is the crux of the game, it's going to tell you which of the tracks score. So the tracks scored during the game. And I think I forgot to tell you how these spaces work. So you get a moon, but you also get to look at the top 2 cards of the event deck and put 1 card on the bottom and 1 on the top. So these are important for manipulating the track scoring, really is a big thing with those. So yellow track is going to score, and then we're going to subtract 1 point for every damage module we have. So I have 1 damage module, and the bot has no damage modules. So we're going to look at the gold track and see our position on here. So the bot is at 5 and I'm at 6, but I lose 1 because of my damage module. So we're each going to get 5 points. So that was a push. Okay, so that's the track scoring part. Next thing we're going to look at is here. So this will tell us what the next raider is that comes onto the board. So we got B. My raider cards are out of shot. But there's A, B, C, and D. So there's four additional types of raiders beyond the starting one that we had. So this is the one that's coming on the board. We've got the Paralon Rifler. And it's going to begin on the shipyard. So shipyard is here. So that's where it's starting. Okay, and it has 2 range, and it rolls 4 dice, and it has a shield. Nasty business. And it has a devastating strike. So when this strikes, if it gains it gains +2 targeting for the rest of the turn. And the reward for defeating this guy is moving up on the gold track. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so that's the ship part, and then we have the last thing is just the special event that happens. So special effect, in turn order, each player may select and gain a new science or industry module at no cost. Refill after each selection. The bot will take the one it has the fewest of. So I can take science or an industry module at no cost. Nice. That is pretty sweet. So in what it said in, well, turnaround, I'm always the first. So I can take this one or this one. Well, any one, I think. Doesn't have to be the bottom one. Yeah, no cost. So I can take any of those. I'm going to try the point strategy. I'm going to take this one. The bot will take this one. And so we'll both move up on green. And this, I don't think this triggers because we're already at the event's already triggered. So we'll keep going until the next turn. Okay, but I do get to pick one of these. Okay, so first we're going to slot. Okay, so I'm already getting too far on the green track here. So, and I'm going to move these piles here. Maybe I'll put them at the bottom so you can see what they got here, because I'm just going to keep stacks of them. So I'll keep them there. Hopefully we can keep everything in shot. Okay, so the science thing, so with the science module, when you get one of these, you get to look through them and just pick one. So this will let me move up on the blue track. So give me 2 tactics cards. Oh, you know what? Wow, I did that a long time ago. I realized I forgot to do my upgrade. That was like several turns ago. Okay, let's finish the science thing and I'll show you the upgrade because I totally missed that. I'll put that in the notes, but yeah, there's an upgrade one in here, or I could move up the green track again, or I could move up the red track. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot. Whenever you win a battle, you move up the red track. So I should have moved up the red track. So, I think I'm going to do some ship upgrading. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 2 ship upgrades. Because I should have done one when I reached this space here. That's a ship upgrade space. To upgrade your ships, you want to move up this bronze track here. I should have also explained what all these tracks did. So the green one gives you these research tokens, which I'm just using now to do an upgrade. The bronze one lets you upgrade your ships. The battle one gives you these tokens when you get to the certain thing. And of course, they're also related to the developments and, kind of the scoring at the end of the game. The gold track determines how many points resources are worth at the end of the game. So by default, any resources you have left over at the beginning of the game aren't worth anything unless you get to this point on the track, in which case they're worth 1 point each. And if you get to this point on the track, they're worth 2 points each. So if you're going to generate a lot of resources, this is the track you want to go up on. And this track increases your tactics card hand size. So your hand size defaults to 5, but if you get up to here, it's 6 and then 7. The bot, of course, doesn't have a hand size, so when it reaches those spaces, it draws 3 tactics cards. Okay, so let's upgrade 2 of my ships. So now the other important thing to note is if you upgrade a ship, whenever you upgrade a ship, you get a new ship of that type. So okay, and I also, with your faction, you get a faction specific ship. So I've got the Tulsi Porter ship here is the heavy cruiser. So that one's a Merchant Scarn. So it's got 2 range. It rolls 3 dice. Profiteering. When I launch the ship to an alliance base, I gain a credit. Ooh, that's nice. And with these ones, the special ability for them is you pay an energy, and then they can. I think they have unlimited range. I think that's what that means. There is a reference here for the ship special abilities. So it says jump when the ship launches or moves. You may spend an energy to give it infinite range. Yeah. The bots ones just have infinite. So that's a neat one. I'm definitely thinking about that one. I can do 2 upgrades. So I'll probably will do that one to get my heavy ship on the board. I've got the elite fighter here. So the fighters let you. They give you +1 on targeting. And they can they can move on to an occupied space during first launch. So this one, not everybody has. So in a multiplayer game, not everybody will have the same upgrades. You kind of deal out the upgrades at the beginning, so everybody gets kind of like a different selection. This one's this is the regular, like kind of the neutral heavy cruiser ship. So instead of doing this profiteering one, I could take this one, which is just it's just big. It rolls 5 dice. And it has a shield. So my merchant one doesn't have a shield. So this is just a pure fighting monster. And if I took that, that means I'm not going to get my special ship. And then my science ship's got a shield. It rolls 2. And then the science ships can go into the nebula. I definitely want to get a science ship because I want to go into the nebula. That's good to get that one going. So I'll get a science ship. And then my turbo transports, looks like they just move. They've got more range. Not great. I'm probably not going to upgrade those. Oh, tough. Big, heavy cruiser or money. The money could be so useful. I'm going to take the money heavy cruiser. I'm not going to be fighty. I'm just going to take the money one. Okay, so now I've caught up to my upgrade that I should have been at already. So that's how you upgrade ships. So I've got much more options here now. Okay, so that finishes the event. Yeah, so we're done that. And I can't even remember. That was my turn. So, that was a long turn. Yeah, there's just no way I'm getting through a whole game of this. So you can see how long this game is. Okay, I'll go as long as I can. Let's see what the bot does next. Okay, it's going 1 again. So it's going to launch to the rightmost undeveloped planet. And then it's going to advance the event track. Rightmost undeveloped is this guy again. So it's just going to get a moon token. We'll advance the event track. Okay. Discard that one. Okay, well now I've got more ships to work with here. Now I'd like to get ready to do a development. I don't think I cared too much about which development do I want. Well, I'm going good on green, but there are no green spaces. I could get to a red space. And I do need to pick up some moon tokens, so maybe I want to do my transport. Oh, there's, you know what, if I want a moon, maybe I should do my science first. Oh, but you know what? They're taking over a lot of the, you know, I'm going to take the red space. I'm going to go to the red space, and I'll get a moon one next. Because the only planet, well, I mean, I guess I could reach the, oh, that's a nice token there. But, you know, I can't do a development here right away, so I would have to go here and then battle, and then, of course, all their ships are going to jump in. Or, yeah, this is in range to this guy. And, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, my only real move is to send the science ship out. And can I get it? Yeah, I gotta stay away from everything. Oof, I'm kind of cornered in the corner here. Kind of want the bot to fight this guy. So, yeah, let's just do the science move instead. Okay, so my science ship moves 3. So, I mean, I could get all the way. No, I mean, I don't want to. I could trigger this fight here, but then this guy. No, this guy wouldn't jump in because he can only fight one at a time. So that's actually not a bad fight there for my science ship. These guys, yeah, I wouldn't be able to get in there. This is a really nice token for the spending. So there are some moon slots on the spend token. So let's see if we have any up here. Yeah, so here, like this one here. So this one, you slot a moon here, and then you have to spend that thing to get these things. That token with the relic on it is a null token, which means that you would be able to execute that for free, which is awesome. I kind of want that, and then I can fight this raider. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to take that because that is awesome, even though I don't have that yet. So I'll hold on to that and slot it later. And now I can look at the top 2 cards. Drop the moon in here. Look at the top 2 cards here, and then I can put one on the top and one on the bottom. So it's either green or bronze is going to trigger. So obviously I'd rather have, well, I'm ahead in either of those. I mean, I still have the damage module, so neither of those things really matter. So I'll, you know, maybe I'll look at the special effects. So this one's going to bring in A, and this one's going to bring in C. Neither of those raiders are on the board, so yeah, that'll bring in more raiders either way. Each player gains 1 nanocarbon, then put 1 bonus nanocarbon. Okay, that's not bad. Each player gains 2 titanium or 1 new ship at no cost. Oof. Now the bot doesn't get, that's not going to affect the bot. The bot is going to, oh, so this is a special bot card. So the bot will get a bronze module. I get a new ship. New ships are good. So new ship, or I think I'd rather have the new ship. Okay, so that's what we'll do. So now we know bronze is going. So yeah, so that's kind of like the track I might want to move up on. Yeah, I took my thing, so now I got to fight this thing. Nothing else can get in here. None of my ships. Oh, but this guy. Oh no, this guy can't move in because there's already a ship here. So remember, I said only one class of ship can be in there at a time, except for this ship. It can pair with other ships of that type. So this guy. So I'm just fighting that guy. So this should be a simple fight. We each roll 2 dice, so it's just a simple 2 die, 2 die. I'm not playing any diplomacy cards. I'm not spending any energy because I don't have any energy. So it's just a straight fight off here. I don't really care if I win this one or not. And, oh, so here we go. So see, we tied here. So now we got to look at the next die, and he beats me on the next one because I rolled a 1 and he rolled a 3. So that means I'm going to lose that fight, unfortunately. So that raider is going to stay on the board. My guy goes to the scrapyard, but here's my strategy that comes into play with my moon slotting. Whenever you lose a fight, you execute your tactical operations here, but I slotted this moon so I could take a tactics card, or I could repair. So I could repair my science ship, or I could repair the module. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to repair anyways. So I think I will repair my science ship so I can activate more. Well, you know what? It's probably better to repair the module in case the scoring comes up again. So that's probably why the bot always does it first. So I'll repair the module, and then I get a titanium. So, I don't mind losing battles. Oh, wait a minute. My son, never mind. Man, I keep missing things. I've got a super special science ship. My science ship actually has shields. I just see that here. It's actually better than my freaking heavy ship. It has shields, so it doesn't die. It just takes a damage. So, yeah, no biggie there. That battle's kind of a draw. Finally done that turn. Now the fighter is going to go to Maximus Field. So bot rolled a 5, and he's going to go to Maximus Field, which, we've got a bunch of guys in here already. Okay, so he's going to get his leader here. Because we're going to the alliance base, this moves instead of doing the action, and he's going to get a repair and a bronze industry. And so he's got no modules damaged, so he will repair a ship. They always repairs modules first, but none damaged, so he's going to repair a ship. Always takes the bottom module here. And he's moving up on the bronze track. I didn't want him to move up on the bronze track. He's moving up on the bronze. Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong track. He's moving up on the bronze track. Okay, so he's going to get an upgrade. Okay, so when the bot gets an upgrade, instead of, because he doesn't have upgrade cards, he has a stack of upgrade tokens. So I'll just draw the first one of that. And this is a one-time benefit. So 2 free moves on the tracks, and they will pick the lowest track each time. So they're going to move on both of these tracks. Okay, and now we're going to have a battle here. Okay, so Unity's got the 2 ships in there. I've got the 1 Unity. So now we do the escalation, which means we could move ships in there. Now my science ship moves 3, so I can move my science ship in here. Unity's always going to move ships in if it can, so it's going to move this one in here. No raiders are in range of that. So yeah, that's going to be the battle there. I should also note that you have a maximum die. You only have 6 dice, so the most dice you can ever roll is 6. Now I do have 2 ships in there, so I might, I'm going to play my tactics, because I'm not going to be very fighty. I'm not going to have a lot of ships. I'm going to play my diplomacy card that gives me a tactics card for every ship I have in that space. So that is this one here. So it's a diplomacy. Draw 1 tactics card for each of your ships in the active regions. So that will give me a deflector shield. Play on any plan's turn when you take damage, prevent it, and any other damage you would take for the rest of the turn. Ooh. So that keeps me from losing ships. That is pretty awesome. Oh, I could have played my... And then I've got this railgun. Okay, so I do get 1 more. Did I take 2 cards? I had 3. I played 1. Yeah, so I should have. I got this railgun. Play during battle preparations. +1 d6 battle die +2 target. I'm definitely playing this. So this is during battle prep, which is what we're doing next after the diplomacy. So I will play this, which will give me an extra die and +2 targeting for this fight. Okay, the card the bot gets this turn is Exposed Weakness. After battle dice are rolled, this card counts as an additional result of 6 for Canadian. That is kind of nasty. So remember, he's got a 6 already before we even roll here. Straight up 6. Okay, so that's it. We're gonna roll the dice. See what happens here. Hey, so 6, 6. Yeah. Oh, he smoked me. He's got much better dice than I do. Okay, so that's a loss for me. So when you lose a normal fight like that, the loser is going to take a damage for every ship they have in the fight. So normally I would lose both of these guys because my science ship's already damaged. But I'm going to play my deflector shield and not take any damage. The bot won the fight, so the bot's going to move up on the red track for winning the fight, and that will move the event thing up. That card is discarded. And what else happens here? I get to take my tactics thing again. Okay, so I've got my battle tactics, which means I can... Oh, wait a minute. I still should have taken my tactics operations last time because I lost the battle. It doesn't matter if I didn't lose. I was thinking because I didn't lose my ship that I didn't lose the battle, but I did lose the battle. Yeah, so I should have gotten a repair and I should have still got the repair and the titanium. So I'll take that now. 2 titanium. And yeah, so I can do the 2 repairs. Okay. Because I'm going to execute that twice. I should have executed that after the last fight I lost. Losing fights is actually not a bad thing for me. Okay, so that was the bot's turn, right? They moved into Maximus Field. They advanced. Did they advance the... Yeah, they did advance. Yeah. Tracker. Okay, so that's it for the bot. Yeah, forgive me if I'm missing things. There's just so many things to track in this game. It's insane. Okay. Yeah, and you can see the problem with fighting the bot, playing against the bot here is their ships never leave the board, and they're very aggressive. So it's like, how the heck do I get a foothold anywhere to actually do something? Oh, and that big monster thing is on the board too, which is making it hard for me to go anywhere. So, I mean, this guy moves 2. I might just do a recall turn here. How many ships do I have on the board? I only have the 2 on the board. Okay, so that's probably not a good idea. But I can't really go anywhere. I mean, the problem is that the problem is this guy. Like, he launched right in the middle here. Like, there's not much we can do against that guy. It's like we got to move him out of there. Like, I guess how you can counter that is you can draw this guy instead. So, that is how I could counter. Although that guy moves, he's within 1 range. So you kind of got to move here to draw that guy out. And then maybe I could go here. So maybe I'll move, but I can't do the development office. Don't really want to move here because then he'll draw. Yeah. Ooh, tough sledding here, where to go. Yeah, I don't really have anywhere I can move without drawing. I mean, the only place I could go is up here kind of thing. And so this is going to be a fight no matter what I do. Yeah, let's just bring my big ship in here, I guess, to draw the fight. I guess that's what we're going to have to do. Okay, so I'm going to move my big ship, my special ship here. It's got that proper daring, so when I launch, to an alliance base, I gain a credit. Do I want to move it to an alliance base? It moves to... there's no good alliance base within range of any of my ships. I really have nowhere to go right now. This is tough. Yeah, I'm just going to have to sacrifice a ship. No ifs, ands, buts about it. And we know that that big ship's not going to get taken out because it's got a shield, so we got to hit it twice. Oof, this is just rough. Well, I'm just going to go here and take the moon token here. This raider is going to move in. Yikes. Okay, so I've got another token to slot. I'm going to slot this one. I guess it doesn't matter. Well, I have nothing to repair, so I might not want to execute this one here. Because I got a lot of ships, so I'm gonna slot it there and then get the point. Okay, so escalation. I'm not gonna move my ships, and I don't want to lose all my ships. What if I win the battle? There is. I will move in my ships. Who cares? Let's try that. Let's see if we can win this. I mean, all the ships are moving into this. This is me a ginormous battle here. But if I can keep this guy in here, then I can build my development. Of course, the bot could build a development there too, because it's moving its guy in there, so... we'll see how this goes. Okay, so all the ships are in there. So that's the escalation step. So now I don't have a diplomacy card. The bot is going to play its card. No effect, so it's not doing anything fancy. So now we're going to do the battle prep. I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm getting all 6 of my dice. The bot is getting all 6 of its dice. The raider gets 4 dice. So it gets +2. The raider gets +2 targeting priority. So it gets 3 targeting priority. I have 3 targeting priority, and the bot has 4. So it's pretty close. This is actually going to be a pretty close fight. So let's see. So the worse the bot. Okay, so the bot's not going to reroll anything because its targeting priority is 3. So that's everything's above 3, so it's good. The bot has to roll at least 4s. So it's going to reroll all its stuff. And I've got to roll at least 3s. So I get to reroll 2 of my things. I'm not looking good for this battle. Like right now. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm losing to the raider right now. So that's where we're at right now. So let's... Oh, and of course the bot just smoked us. It just rolled 2 6s and a 5. Oh, I did roll a 6 and a 5 though. So, did a little bit better. But I'm already lost here on the second row. So yeah, bot's winning this one. Bot won. So the reward for beating the Paralleling Rifler is to move up on the gold track. So the bot's reward is going to move on that track. It is damaged. It has a shield, so it's not dead, unfortunately. It's just damaged. All my ships take a damage, so my big ship actually does not have a shield. I did repair my science ship, so my science ship is taking a damage. My other 2 ships go to the scrapyard. But of course, when I lose a fight, I get to take a titanium and do a repair. So I'm going to take a titanium, and I am going to repair my biggest ship. It doesn't really matter which one. I'll just repair my big ship. Oh, I should have taken this guy a long time ago, because I was there. Did I get everything? Oh, and the white also won the battle, so they're going to move up here, and then they get this token. Okay, so now it's the bot's turn. Okay, so it's got a 5. So it's launching this guy, and it's going. Oh, I forgot to move the Sentinel again when I moved in there. So it's actually jumping right into that maelstrom, and then it's going to try to do a develop. So this should be here, and of course it wants to go here, which it can't. So it will jump into here, which it can do because it has that special move. There are no tokens left, no moons left in here, so it's just going to get the resource. It doesn't collect resources. Instead, it collects the tactics cards. So bot is actually getting its first tactics card. Then it wants to do a development there. Okay, so a couple important things to note. You can build a development on any region where you have transport ship, not just the active region. Now, there's already a development here, so you can't build it there, even though he has this guy here, so he has to build it here. There's nothing in the rules that says you can't just build here in the middle of this maelstrom. So yeah, so he'll build a development there. Doesn't need the resources, he just needs the leaders. So for this one, he needs 2 leaders. So we'll discard 2 of his leaders. And that will be a factory. So I'll pick any one of these guys here. So I build a factory there, which gives him the factory card, which he will use right away to do 2 repairs. Now, he doesn't have any repairs. I think he executes it right away, so I think he'll just get the points for that. Yes, Unity always executes those immediately, so it's not going to save it to repair later. So because the Unity has nothing to repair right now, it'll just get 2 points. Okay, and then it's going to score that. So 2 for that one. There's 1 here. No leaders there or there. So it's only worth 3 points. So not a big scoring one. Okay, and then we're back to battle again. Yeah, I don't have any ships to bring in there. And I'm not going to play attack. I'm not going to play a diplomacy card. So just see what card Unity plays, and then we're back to preparing. So I'm past the point of the limit, but I do want to show how the return to station action works for Unity. So I'm going to play until we get through a Unity return to station action. Okay, so Unity gains gains 2d6 and +1 targeting for this battle. Wow, 2d6. Well, he's going to be at maximum 6 dice already anyways. Okay, so but he will get +1 targeting for this. Raider rolls 4 dice. Okay, let's see how this goes. So the Raider's got 3 targeting. Unity has a 4 plus the 1, so it's going to have 5. The max you can get for targeting is 5. You can't go all the way to 6. So yeah, Unity already. Well, no, hang on. So these. See how these roll. Okay, so that is now set. So that's that. And Unity has already beat that, so I don't need to roll that. Because if it has more dice, I mean, I should re-roll until the thing, but it already had 2 6s, a 5 and a 3, and more dice, so technically it already won without re-rolling, so I'm not going to bother keep rolling. So Unity wins that fight. Okay, so that means at least this guy's gone now. He's destroyed. The bot gets another red track, and he's going to get a gold track for the reward. And that's going to move this up. Oh, I was in that battle too. There's no way I could have won that battle. So I'm just going to lose my ship. I forgot. I was so hidden in there, my one little tiny ship. Yeah, there's no way, because they rolled 2 6s, so I actually literally no way to win that fight. So I gotta go to the scrapyard. But of course, I lost another battle, so you know what that means. I get another titanium, and I get to repair my ship. So hey, battles aren't too bad. Yeah, so I think I did everything there. Unity did its development. Did the battle, moved up on all the tracks. Da, 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 da. I think we're good. I think I got everything. There's a lot to remember here. Okay, so my next turn. I've got 2 guys left. That did not. Oh, so that totally helped me out. Now I've got no ships on the board, so I can do first launch. So I can actually get into position now without triggering a battle to get a development on this board. It's not the I don't have. Unfortunately, I don't have the nano carbon, but I should be able to pick one up during my recall turn. So I think I'm gonna go here and get moon. Super crazy turn there. Yeah, and this will get, well, this is the, yeah, so I'm just going to slot this here. So now now we're all good. Okay. That's it for my turn. The bot, let's hope the bot recalls finally. Bot is going 3. Of course not. I mean, it's going too soon. Okay, so, where did I should have moved. The Sentinel should be here. I keep forgetting to move that, which means, what did I roll? I rolled a 3? 3, yeah. So Unity wants to go here again. It just loves this spot. It's not going to be able to do anything there. And then it's going to do a repair, which is nothing damage, so it's going to get a point. And then it's going to get this resource, so it'll draw a tactics card. Okay, and then that's it for this. Okay, so my turn. Where can I go? Well, I've got a bunch of resources, so I should buy a module. So I'm going to actually launch here, and I'm going to buy some more stuff. I did want this module, so I think I'm going to buy that guy for 1 credit. And what else do I want? Maybe I should go 2 of those. Do I want? Oh, I wanted to move up on the bronze track because that's scoring next. So, and I've got quite a bit of bronze, but now, I'll do this one here. So I owe a credit, a titanium, and a wild, any resource. And then I move up on the bronze track. Move up on the bronze track. And I move up on the gold track, and the event is going to execute. Okay, so this one's here. This one's here. I'm slotting my null token here. That's why I wanted this one. Because then I just get 2 points and a credit for free every time I execute that one. Yeah, I think I did everything on that square, so now I got to do the event. No, that's not everything. I have to pay my resources. I have to pay my credit, pay a titanium, and then 2 of anything. So I guess I'll just do titanium because I got a lot of titanium here, and I'm going to get a bunch more. Okay, so the event, we know the bronze track is executing. I've got no damage modules, and neither does the bot. So I think this was it. Oh, I did manage to get ahead of the bot on that. So the bot gets 7, and I get 8. So we're officially halfway through the game. Okay, then the A Raiders executing. So now we get a Chupa Vampra. Begins in a random nebula. So when you begin a random nebula, you just roll a die. So he's going to go here. That's where he starts. Okay. He's only got range 1, so we don't have to worry about him as much as that other guy that had the range 2. Okay, and then we do the special effect here. In turn order, each player may select and gain a new science or industry module at... Oh, wait, this is the wrong card. That was the discard pile. This is the card. Each player gains 2 titanium or 1 new ship at no cost. The bot is going to get a bronze module. So I could get a 2 titanium or a ship. I'm going to get a ship, I think. So which ship do I want to get? Transport. I mean, I'm going to burn a transport soon, so I should probably get a transport. Okay, unless I roll very poorly here, we're finally going to be able to see a bot recall turn. Let's rip here. 2. Yes. No ships in here. Reset turn. Okay, so return to station for the bots. This is how it works. Okay, so first thing we're going to develop, Unity builds a development if possible. So we got to check the board here. I mean, all its transports are in this one spot. And its other one's over here. So it actually doesn't have a ship in place to do a development, so it's not going to develop. Okay, then command advance the command marker 1 space for each Unity ship on a region and in for each Unity ship on a region and in the repair barge. For each ship advancement, gain the depicted bonuses. Advance it again each time Unity repairs a ship and moves it to the repair barge. So it doesn't have any damaged ships, and pretty much all its ships are on the board. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. So this is going to rotate 8 times, and it's going to execute each of these things for each one. So, so the first one here, what does that symbol mean? Okay, so this first one, it means it's going to take a nebula moon, and it's going to advance the event track. When it gets a nebula moon, it takes the leftmost. So it's just going to take one of these. Okay, 2, it's going to repair. It has nothing to repair, so it's going to get a point and a green module. It takes 2 of these science tokens when it gets them. Just takes 2 random ones. Okay, for this one, it's going to try to do development again. It can't, so then it's going to move up, but it's going to move up on the red track and then move the event marker. And it's going to grab this. So is that 1, 2, 3? Man, we got 5 more of these moves. So it's going to take a yellow module. It's going to take a blue module. That one comes in damaged. And it's going to take a brown module and repair. It always repairs its modules. It's doing another ship upgrade. So it's got, now all its ships are going to have +1 range. Okay, so what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 2 more here. So it's going to get another moon and move the event track, triggering an event. So it's going to take this other moon. Then it's going to trigger. And the last thing it's going to do is repair. It doesn't have anything to repair, so it's going to get a point and take another science module. Okay. So that's a command set. Scrapyard Unity gains 2 points for each Unity ship in the scrapyard, but not for ships in the repair barge. It has none in there. And then return the Unity ships to the appropriate sections of the Unity launch bay, rearranging the transports so they are on the lowest numbered transport spaces. Remove damage from Unity's heavy cruiser, if any. Okay, so I did screw up a little bit here. I counted the ships wrong because you did, of course, deploy 2 developments. So actually, these last 2, it shouldn't have gone so. So I'll undo those last 2. the event still would have triggered. So the transports you put starting from lowest to highest, say what numbers on here. So you will notice that, it's going to start returning ships faster because it has less, especially in this bottom row, it's only got one ship left. Okay, and then we're going to do the event. Okay, so green is triggering, and then of course minus damage modules. Neither of us have damage modules, so we're just counting green. We're both at 8. So both getting 8 here. Actually, fairly close to the end. I mean, he's at 34. 50 is the game end trigger, so we're not too far from the end of the game. D is coming into play. Now we got an ion storm. Oh, shoot. You know what? I have been messing this up. One thing I have been missing, so this is the third. Yeah, sorry, guys. Every time you do the event, you're supposed to reveal a new planet. So this is like the third. I believe this is the third event. So there should be 3 new planets on the board. Okay. I'm going to have to mention that in the thing rules. So I'll make sure to make note of that. And then, when you put the planets on, you add the moons. So, I mean, it's not going to change the game up too much, but I mean, there would have been extra spaces to, 1 or 2 extra spaces to go to. Probably, I don't think it would make a big difference here to the playthrough. But just to note that, yeah, when you do an event, you're supposed to put out a new planet. Knew I would miss something. Always miss something. There's so many rules to this game. Okay, and so the monster's going to go to that new planet that came out. Okay, so this guy has ionic disruption. So when the raider strikes, damage all other ships in the active range. Ooh, that's nasty. Just when he strikes, it's going to damage everybody. Oof. Not so good, but it only has 1 range, so it doesn't have a lot of range on that thing. Okay, and then the special effect, each player may activate their primary reactor, and the bot is going to take a green. That comes in damaged. And then I can activate my primary reactor, which means I get to activate this whole row here. So I will get a point, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 energy, and I'm going to take a rock. Okay, and that's it. I'm going to stop there because we're at like 2 hours, which is beyond what I'm usually play. But you should have a good idea of how this game plays. At the end of the game, we're just going to score the tracks again. We score the developments that we have on the board based on how far you get up the tracks of each of the colors and which developments you have. If you get to, if you have leftover resources, the bot right now is at this point, so he'll get a point for each one of his tactics cards. He's got 2 in his hand right now, so he's not getting a lot for that. I'm scoring nothing for those right now. And then the blue modules often have, so he's got one here. The blue ones have endgame scoring, so like this one has gain 2 points for each commerce module you have, max 10 victory points. So there's stuff like that. But that's generally it, and then whoever has the most points wins. As usual, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.